Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. Nurses at the new Maitland Hospital have voted overwhelmingly to take strike action next week, but say patients will not be left without care. Maitland Hospital opened last month, but nurses say wards are already overcrowded, and there's been constant pressure on the emergency department as they struggle with staff shortages due to COVID. 98% of Maitland Hospital nurses voted last night to take industrial action. The Nurses and Midwives Association says a skeleton staff will be on hand to care for patients in most need. The Morrison government is stepping further into election mode, sounding a warning to the Hunter's economy if the Greens hold the balance of power after this year's federal poll. Labor leader Anthony Albanese has ruled out doing a carbon reduction deal with the Greens, but leader Adam Bandt says the ALP may have no choice if they want support for their legislation in government. The Greens want to see pollution cut by 75% this decade and a pause on coal and gas projects. The government says this could see $8 billion in Hunter investment dry up and put 8,000 local jobs at risk. Police have laid child sexual assault charges against a Campbelltown man over the assault of a 15-year-old girl in the Hunter. Detectives say the 37-year-old travelled here last month and assaulted the girl after the pair engaged in online conversations. He faced Campbelltown Court yesterday, charged with one count of having sexual intercourse with a child aged between 14 and 16. The Hunter's tourism industry is welcoming international travellers back after years of stagnation. It's hoped music, art and food life will be revived from the reopening of international borders. Hunter Valley Wine Tourism Association CEO Amy Cooper says she's looking forward to normality.
Opening up again or becoming more frequent will mean that we'll see some of the larger international acts that were unfortunately sort of cancelled as we initially rolled into the coronavirus. So it'd be great to see some of those back on the cards for the Hunter, and I think that will attract many.
A woman has been treated in the John Hunter Hospital for serious leg injuries after being hit by a car south of Lake Macquarie. The Hunter's Westpac rescue helicopter was called to a residential street at Wadalba yesterday afternoon, where the 40-year-old had been struck and dragged for a short distance by the vehicle. She was stabilised at the scene before being flown to Newcastle, suffering multiple leg fractures. Cessnock City Council has sealed a deal with reusable cup company Green Caffeine to reduce the amount of plastic waste in oceans. The scheme is in response to growing concerns around the lack of recyclable coffee cups, causing more than 1 billion to enter our oceans each year. Waste and Environment Coordinator Tricia Donnelly says the scheme works in a similar way to Swap and Go gas bottles.
Instead of remembering to bring a reusable coffee cup every time, you just swap the one you've got with another one. It scans via an app, so it's still free to do, sort of thing, unless you fail to return your reusable coffee cup.
2NURFM Sport.
It was a tough night at McDonald Jones Stadium for both the Newcastle Jets teams. Jamie McLaren scored twice for reigning champions Melbourne City as they ran out 4-2 winners over the Jets. Meanwhile, the A-League women's side fell 1-0 to Melbourne Victory despite a spirited second-half showing. Victory found the breakthrough in the second half through American Brooke Hendricks, and the depleted Jets were unable to equalise. Newcastle Knights youngster Bradman Best is raring to go ahead of the new NRL season. The 20-year-old has been plagued by injuries since his debut in 2019, playing 28 of a possible 47 matches. Best is determined to shake his injury woes and has his sights set on a possible Origin berth for New South Wales. Swansea Belmont Ironman prodigy Kai Taylor is taking confidence out of his performance at Karawa's 6-round series on Sunday. The 19-year-old finished 16th overall, but will push for a place at the Ironman series once again next summer. And Charlestown have added to their arsenal in the NPLW, securing the services of ex-W League striker Jenna Kingsley and Mid-North Coast product Courtney Anderson. That's sport. I'm Patrick Alderton.
And the winning numbers in Oz Lotto are 1, 4, 7, 17, 25, 32 and 45, and the supplementaries are 26 and 36. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.